r/AskReddit. What's the sexiest moment you've seen by accident? My preteen self was in line for the diving board at the local pool when the girl who just jumped in ran back into line, with her right bob popping out of her bikini. After staring for a good 5 seconds, she finally noticed and giggled as she put it back, which gave me the opportunity to learn just how weird it is to jump into a pool and swim with a woodie. My freshman orientation of college, we are all going outside for another damn tour. I'm sitting up against a wall when this absolutely stunning girl in a dress walks out of their common store and a gust of wind hits her, lifts the dress up, and reveals she is not wearing underwear. Started the tour with a boner. Did you see her from the front or back? Yes. I'm pretty sure every sex I have is by accident. I was 16, and at my friend's lake house. He had 2 incredibly hot sisters, tall, tan, and blonde. Even better, they brought friends. My friend and I had a room upstairs while all the girls were downstairs. In the middle of the night I wanted some water, so I went downstairs. Their door was cracked open as I passed, so I looked inside, being the nosy teenager I was. I saw all 4 girls naked, and I made this all up. I'm so lonely, bleep Valentine's Day, goddamn it. When I was 19 I worked as a delivery driver for KFC. They used to deliver back then. I was walking back from a delivery and one of the female employees was in an empty lobby scrubbing a spill on the floor on her hands and knees. Her butt was facing me. As she scrubbed, her butt wiggled. I married her. I had a similar one. I was delivering post as a temp job one summer before uni and I knocked on the door to this flat and a woman answered the door, perfect 10, wearing what was basically a flannel, just jumped out of the shower. She says, "Oh, sorry. I thought you were my sister." I reply, "No problem. I have a package for you." Sadly I was not invited, and hey, life has a funny way of not being a Palmo. I used to live in a condo building on a side that faced another one. Randomly one day I was on the phone looking out the window and saw an attractive woman walk up to her window naked. She walked away after like 5 seconds. Not amazing, but it's all I got. It's all you've ever got. Wrecked. Friend's stepmom had recently married his dad. She was from Florida. We were moving stuff to her grandparents' house. It was the middle of summer. She was sweating, and it was great for 15-year-old me. Then she rolled her shirt up to show some glorious underbob. It would have lasted much longer if she didn't see me gawking, but it's an image forever burned into my mind. And then, I was 13, selling newspaper subscriptions door to door around 7 p.m. one night. Hit an apartment complex for that easy money. Knocked on a door, and before the 3rd knock, the door flew open, and a very attractive brunette in black lacy lingerie and thigh highs came into my life. Well, hello there, oh bleep, and slammed the door in my face. Obviously was expecting someone else. My balls dropped that night. Back in high school I was taking my dog for an evening walk around my neighborhood. She's doing her business and starts barking up at someone's house. So of course I looked to see what made her bark, and lo and behold, there's a girl from my class, topless and just out of the shower, looking out her window. I don't think she saw me, but I made sure to feed my dog extra treats when we got back. Damn, I miss that mutt. The bro was strong with that dog. When a cute nurse accidentally drops something, picks it up, and bam. Thong. But the ratio of non-cute nurses to cute nurses is at least 20 to 1. Well, that's why you accidentally drop something in front of a cute nurse for her to be nice and pick up. You play with the better odds that way. My wife had recently lost a good bit of weight and was feeling rather proud of herself. I caught her standing naked in the bathroom checking out her bleep in the mirror. I love confident women with nice butts. Your wife sounds exactly like my type. Any chance she's single? 1 year in my mid-20s, I lived next door to a family in Cambridge, MA. Their daughter came home from college that spring. My bedroom window faced hers. She used wooden blinds that were more or less completely transparent. Each night, before bed, she would just stand naked in front of her mirror, or sometimes she'd sit on the edge of her bed and face the mirror. That summer she studied her own body closely, and I guess I got to know it pretty well, too. Tell me more about this transparent wood. Was watching some bleepy movie and fell asleep in friend's bed. Woke up in the morning and noticed for the first time that she was really bleeping hot. Did you open a window at least? I was at a free concert in Central Park. The public toilets were disgusting, so women were using a wooded area nearby. Watching discreetly from a park bench, a grizzled homeless man feverishly masturbated. I was going to my girlfriend's house at the time, and when I got there, her equally hot older sister was just getting out of the shower with only a towel on. Sexiest not involving actual nudity. I was waiting at an airport and a young woman, somewhere between 18 and 22, stood in front of a window wearing a sheer white dress. The sun coming through the window turned her dress opaque. You couldn't really see anything, but at the same time you could see everything. It was a powerful image of a young, beautiful woman standing in a sunbeam framed by dark shadows. It's been bothering me that I went through college never once seeing anything sexy by accident. I never walked in on people having sex, never saw girls changing in dorms or anything. I know it happens all the time, but it's like all the sexiness in the world is hiding from me. You've never looked in a mirror? I somehow became my dorm's unofficial math, physics tutor last year. I'm helping their hottest chick in my dorm with an optimization problem right outside her room. After I help explain a couple of things, she manages to get it on her own, and she's pretty excited that it finally makes sense to her, so she gives me a really tight hug that I wasn't expecting. I hadn't noticed she wasn't wearing a bra, which made the hug even better. When this awesome hug finally ends, she says, "Oh haha, I'm sorry, I'm not wearing a bra." And she looks at me as she goes into her room. Then I, like a dumb bleep, proceed to go get food to eat. Way back when I used to live in the States, Miami FL, I had a close friend whose uncle was a successful lawyer. He lived with his uncle because he got in too much trouble back home. One day he called me over and he told me his uncle's second wife, early 20s, was swimming in the pool, and that she didn't know we were here. I peeked through the curtains and saw a naked woman swimming like something out of a Penthouse page. She was drop-dead gorgeous too, and I think I stood there staring for around 30 minutes through the curtains. My wife was drying off in front of our sunny, second-story bedroom window. Down from there sidewalk we hear, "Woohoo." She's mortified and I'm looking up from the bed and saying, "No, he's right. Woohoo." Sexy times ensue. Sims legit. I work at a campsite in Scotland, and last summer I was out cutting grass on my ride-on mower, Gianni Ferrari Turbo 4. I was mowing a patch of grass near some tents and had to stop as there was a large stone in my way. As I climbed off my mower, I heard the sound of a flap opening. I turned my head to see a naked redhead girl about 25 emerge from the tent and proceed to embark on a series of morning stretches. This was without doubt the sexiest thing I've come across. 18-year-old me used to have swimming lessons, which eventually turned into a lifeguard course. During one session we were practicing diving and posture. After we dove in, we would stay in the water while the next person went. I used to put my head under so I wouldn't get splashed, but also because it was cool to see people dive in from underwater. Long story short, girl dives in, and her bikini top comes down. She managed to pull it back up before coming to the surface. I was the only one who saw, and it was awesome, and also the first real pair I saw. Flying home for Christmas on leave from Navy Hospital in 1973. Still very weak, so I was first passenger on plane. Stewardess has placed extra pillows and blankets on seat across from me. She leans over to get the last one. She was wearing a garter and stockings and nothing else under her skirt. Would have been even more exciting, except all I could do was imagine. I am 6'2" tall and weighed about 95 pounds at the time. I had lost so much weight due to my illness. So, all I could do was think about sex, but even if she had been willing, nothing I could have done. When I was growing up, I lived next to a very religious family that had 4 attractive daughters. They also had a pool which you could see from my parents' bedroom window. Well, one day I was home alone and went to grab something in their room when I noticed the second oldest daughter, about 20 years old at the time, swimming by herself. I got to where I could see her, and she probably couldn't see me to watch her for a seconds, mainly because I was a bleepy teenage boy, but also because what she was doing seemed a bit weird. She started out doing what looked like water exercises with her legs, and made her way to the edge every few seconds to perch her elbows on it and dangle in the water. But while she was dangling there, she would look around like she didn't want anybody to see her, and if a car passed by she would dart to the center of the pool and slowly make her way back to the edge again. This went on for a few minutes and I was getting more and more curious until it dawned on me. She's dangling over one of the jets in the pool and it's hitting her right in the sweet spot. I could have very well passed out from all the excitement when I finally figured it out. Those good little Christian girls never looked the same to me again. I was sitting at the reference desk at work. It was quiet, almost dead in the library except for a guy studying nearby. As I'm staring in his general direction, pondering why time can't go a bit faster, he stretches his arms over his head, sighs, and It was like time stopped and my lady bits went into overdrive. I still think about that stretch now and then. Alright, let's see if this is the proper thread for this. In junior year of high school, our class took a trip to snorkel and scuba dive in the Key Largo, Florida. At the location we stayed there was also an underwater hotel for guests. When we first got there we had to learn how to properly snorkel. The scuba divers had already taken our course on how to scuba, and we learned near the underwater hotel. So as we're practicing, all the kids started hanging out in one area and spending more time than normal underwater. One of the instructors swam over near us and dove down to see what all the kids were looking at. A couple had rented the underwater hotel room for their honeymoon and were doing what newlyweds do on their honeymoon, with the curtains open. So the instructor, in an attempt to warn them of the 40 or so high schoolers watching them, tapped on the window. When they finally noticed, women had a look of such fear on her and ran to close the curtains while simultaneously attempting to cover herself. The man, on the other hand, appeared to be in shocked silence. But just as the curtain was pulled shut, he appeared to have a look of pride, like he was bragging about his incredibly attractive wife to a bunch of high schoolers he would never again meet. We then had a class meeting about how it is improper to watch people have sex too long. Didn't read. Always close your curtains.